Denise knows, she's in both chats, I think. And some extremely significant developments. One that's out of this world. I mean, it's not humanly possible for what has happened today to be explained.
AIM knows us. One American News. Okay, thank you, JR. A lot of these organizations own American intelligence media. A lot of these organizations are really jumping. It's like piling on. David has talked about Serco for a long, long time. When he started talking about senior executive service, he was surprised to find that my sister started it. And right there, I think, is a key asset for Abel Danger, is as this bonfire of SES, Serco, and the U.S. Patent Trade Office, as that goes from a bonfire to an out-of-control prairie fire that goes up to a mountain range and creates a forest fire. First of all, my opinion never ever matters, but I just can't imagine how they're going to put this genie back in the bottle, especially since the genie that just escaped from the bottle serves Trump and exposes the people, including Barry Soetoro, George H.W. Bush, the three Clintons, my sister, Jamie Gorelick, dead Janet Reno, Maureen Baginski, John McCain. All you have to do is, anyone that wanted to see who we pointed the finger out, if you just Googled Abel Danger and treason, a lot of those names would come up, because that is what they're doing. Through the connecting glue of pedophilia, they are controlling the United States of the United States of America, and they are forcing it to continue to be a slave to England, not to the nice people in England, but to the people that run England. And maybe it's time for the Queen of England to admit if she's in charge. I don't think legally she is, but I think she has representatives called the Crown Agents and Parliament and those things. And they should, I believe, and I'm not an expert, it's just my belief, I think it's their duty to keep the monarch, which in this case is Queen Elizabeth II. I believe it's their duty to keep her informed of what they are doing. But obviously, the United Kingdom is continuing to control the United States through Serco and the Senior Executive Service. And people might think that that's an irresponsible comment. No, and it wasn't even an offhand comment. But see, the comment that I just made, if you go back and listen to it one more time later tonight, you'll see there's no way it can be proven wrong. The Queen and Parliament and Serco and Senior Executive Service cannot prove that what I just said is wrong, and that's why I said it. Now, changing gears here a little bit, with very short notice, I got an email today from Jason Goodman, and he said a lot of people, well, let me start with this. He woke me up on Tuesday morning, and I went right from being asleep to talking to Jason Goodman, and he said he would like to ask me a few questions about my sister and my comment about surrender. And I said, go ahead. And so he started to ask questions, and then the reason I'm stumbling for this is I'm thinking that if David and I had tried to communicate earlier today with one guinea pig out there, we could have averted this, but I don't know what David does all day. I really don't think I had the time, but I think it's important that David and I find the time before Monday's attempt at the show. So I apologize for everyone in the loop that it didn't work, because David certainly has a lot of good stuff to talk about, including his 238th letter to John Kelly. And I think now that there's this food frenzy, all the sharks smell the blood of SES and Serco, And it's going to be interesting to see how they continue to operate, because I don't think it's possible that they will continue to operate as the slave masters of the United States of America. If somebody could help me with this, I know there's a new organization that has Make America Great in the title, and also White Hats or Whistleblowers or both. Now, if those people want to, it's called a force multiplier, or if we were talking about a daily yield, if those people wanted to get off to a good start right out of the gate, they might consider looking at the radio show ad today, because I'm quite certain that I sent Trump a message, and the message wouldn't go directly to him. It would probably go through some of the people he has assigned to listen to us, or General Kelly, who we communicate with every day. But I volunteered, if Trump wished to make this a very short engagement, if he would invite, I can travel more easily than David, but if he wanted to shut down Serco and the senior executive service in 30 minutes or an hour of time, I think if I could drop by Washington, D.C., and we could have David appear by video telephone, then David and Trump could talk about how the SES and Serco have controlled the United States of America, going back to probably 1776. That seems a little drastic. Well, it also seems like there haven't been many people in America that are paying attention. And of course, that's by design, with the poor education and advertising and pro sports. All these distractions gobble up, electronic games for younger people. All these distractions, and the mainstream media being bought and paid for. I think I probably said to David 3 years ago, if I were in charge of the United States for 30 minutes, I would have an executive order that any broadcast journalist that can be proven to be talking about stuff they don't understand, they should get a lifetime ban from the SEC. And if they persist, like many of the top blabbermouths have, they're basically trying to incite, or they're committing sedition and insurrection and treason. For instance, these mainstream media anchors, when they follow these scripts that are provided to them for money, they are misleading the entire American listening population. And out of 330 million people, there may be 2 or 3 million people that still listen to them. I think most people have gone on and looked for different sources of news, but then again, a majority, once again, this is an opinion, but I think a majority of people don't watch the news at all. Why would they? The ones that want real news go to the alternative media. The ones that would consume the stuff that Rupert Murdoch and his... Would somebody in the Able Danger chat room tell me what a minion is? But anyway, Rupert Murdoch and his minions, they don't put out the truth. At least I haven't seen it. Good example, like, I'm not sure, maybe Denise remembers, or maybe somebody in the chat room remembers what month and what year. I think the year was 2017. I think the month was, I think it was January. I could be wrong. But when the Grenfell Tower burned, Theresa May, regardless of who she works for, she doesn't work for the people or the truth. Hang on. She's had a year, give or take, to tell everyone how many victims there were in the Grenfell Tower. And to my date, she hasn't said that yet. And maybe that means that she doesn't know, or maybe that means she thinks she can't survive politically, if she does know. Okay, Go Banks, who's here in the United Kingdom, thank Go Banks. Anybody who puts in good, I see David's listening. Thanks for listening, David. I hope I don't misrepresent you. And if I ever do, please correct me. And if Denise sees something from you correcting me, I'll read it right away. Now I'm turning myself into a script kiddie. But see, the difference is I know and have met Gordon Banks. In fact, we talked about going to Manchester to get a trust, excuse me. So I'm going to read what Gordon Banks says. He's quoting me from the radio show today. Dear President Trump, I am currently 10.77 miles from Christopher Steele's home in Farnham, UK. I will be in Porton Down, and parentheses, Novichok, tomorrow. I am hoping the customs people in New Hampshire contact the U.S. Embassy before I leave UK on 10 or 17 October, meaning that I hope that President Trump can straighten out this visa issue. And in all fairness to the people that have tried to keep Denise and I apart, there are a few items of paperwork. After the visa was granted, they sent me more paperwork. So why they do that after the visa is granted, I don't know. But Denise and I have been kept apart for 1 year and 4 months, and there's a price with that. I mean, a price for the people that have delayed it. One might just take a look at the fact my sister used to run the U.S. Customs and Border Patrol Visa Center, and how she got in there is unknown to me. Then back to the script here. One taped interview with me and David Hawkins via a video call would kill the deep state. That seems rather robust. I'll bet you it would. My sister started senior executive service. Dave and I exposed, I spelt it wrong, Serco. David and I solved 9/11 that killed 343 New York City firefighters. And Malaysia asked Abel Danger to travel to Kuala Lumpur so they could learn how their flight was rerouted by Serco on the 8th of March of 2014. We also warned Malaysia to expose the BUAP and ATI, or they should expect to lose another jet by 17 July 2014. Which by the way they did. And that the threat that I relayed was more specific. I said, if it goes down, we believe it'll go down no later than 1900, and the 17th of July it went down at 1735 or 39, right in there. Now that's called precise. It's not 100% precise, but we made the threat warning on the 29th of March of 2014. We said if you don't expose the BU and ATI, they should expect to lose another one by 1900 or the 17th of July. And then back to my advice to President Trump. We also warned Malaysia to expose the BUAP and ATI, blah, blah, blah. We are available on very short notice. You may recall President Trump, may recall on 29 July 2015, I exposed Barry Swatero and Christine Marcy for their SES Serco treasons against the country. Let's all remember that Trump was not the president. He was the presumptive Republican nominee at that time. But I didn't like any of the other nominees except for Ben Carson. And so I advised Trump, Carson, and the Commandant of the Marine Corps, General Joseph Dunford. Today he is the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. And if I were to say that he's been the de facto president since September 2015, I don't think most of you would doubt it, and I don't think any of you could prove it wrong. So this is a giant chess game that we're all either participating in or being spectators to. I exposed Barry Swatero and Christine Marcy for their SES Serco treasons against the country I served. And what I mean by that was I served in the military 26 years and still serve. Well, I believe that David and I are providing a service to the United States of America. And for those of you who don't know David Hawkins, he's a Canadian now, a Canadian resident. He was born in the United Kingdom, so he really owes no allegiance, and he's never taken an oath to protect the United States from all enemies, foreign and domestic. But I've taken that doesn't mean he's any less effective. No. The quality of his research and dot connecting and willingness to communicate and share is service above and beyond anyone I can think of right now, anybody in the United States of America. But I do believe that President Trump, if he would review the 238 or 239 letters we've sent to General Kelly, who is his chief of staff in the White House, General Kelly and President Trump may conclude that David and I collectively, and when I say David and I, that includes everyone who's ever given one snippet of information to Able Danger, because David and I publish it, but everyone at Able Danger contributes, including some contributions that came in today, and I'm too tired to remember them all, and they're also too numerous to remember them all. But I got a lot of visual support from Agent Tillman. I'm smiling because if I said Craig Peterson, he'd think that I blew his cover. That's all right. I've got your back there, Craig. The other one is down in Miami, a man I call Hacksaw. And as I was writing the radio show ad, I was being overwhelmed with contributions from those two, and a lot of other people that really want the United States to get straightened out. So does David. David knows if the United States goes down, that every other country is going to go down with them. It's like dominoes. But what I bring to the table, and I'm not sure, I don't think there's any way of saying the value of this is that, or the value of that is this, or the value of Craig Peterson is this, or the guy named Hacksaw is this. I will say that as far as I'm concerned, I don't think I'd be alive today if it wasn't for Denise, because I have a great deal of sadness about what's happened to my country. But if any of you, male or female, could put yourself into the mindset of what you would do to protect a child of yours, whether it's a 7-year-old girl or a 4-year-old boy, if people like a lot of our courts, and it's my suggestion that maybe 70% of our government officials, the glue that holds all this network together is pedophilia. And, I'm going to be naming some judges' names in Wisconsin, and they probably won't like that. Well, if I name a name in Wisconsin and you failed to act on information that I have communicated in writing in affidavits, then take a look in the mirror. You're the jerk, not me. When you guys collectively take an oath of office to serve America, you serve America or die trying. I am very optimistic, and none of us agree with Trump's schedule in indicting and arresting people, but none of us know the depth of the complications and the threats. And if nobody thinks his family's been threatened, then you must not know that last week Jason, if that's not his name, Jared Kushner, and one of Trump's daughters were in a 2-engine helicopter and one engine quit. Okay, just hold that thought while I say in February of 2016, Trump's 757 was underway from the northeast to the south, I believe. It really doesn't matter, but it lost an engine, or an engine started becoming unreliable or erratic, effectively within gliding distance, which it didn't have to glide, of Nashville Airport. So the pilot in command decided that in the interest of the president's, he was the candidate at that time, but Trump's safety, if only one engine's reliable, he'd just go ahead and follow the regulations that said you're required by law to make a landing, a precautionary landing, at the nearest suitable airport in terms of flying time, not distance. Now, the fact I can remember the details of these regulations is not representative of anything except the fact that it was the regulations themselves that caused me to be, nobody fired me. I retired in 10 minutes after getting a letter from Northwest Airlines. It's not their problem. It's the United States Department of Justice. And I know that some might think I'm painting with a broad brush. So let's say the odds are very good that it was my sister who told the Department of Justice to call Northwest and try to get me fired. My sister has always had penis envy. She's a radical hybristophiliac lesbian who feels like she is playing second fiddle for me because my parents liked me more. Well, I don't think they liked me more. I think they just liked what I did more than what she did. And they knew that she was married to a apparently homosexual communist I'm going to give you that name. It's very important to be specific when you're making these types of claims. Eric B. Marcy, who is my sister's beard, he is the son of Carl M. Marcy. Carl M. Marcy, for a number of years, from the 50s into the early 70s, I believe. But somebody in the Abel Danger chat room will pull his name up, and we'll get this exact, because this is a very powerful claim. Carl M. Marcy was the senior person in the Senate, U.S. Senate, even though he wasn't elected. See, it's not the elected people that do the thinking. The elected people are like barking seals. As long as you throw them a fish, they'll keep barking. Now, Carl Marcy was the chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, which is a non-elected position. Well, if you embrace that, just know that Carl Marcy was working with a retired admiral, and they were basically espousing the surrender of the United States of America to the communists. That's what they call Russians and Chinese. Well, I'd say there's more communists in the Beltway right now that we need to be nervous about than anybody in Russia. And if there's anybody in Russia that we really need to be worried about, it would be one of two people, in my humble opinion. I might make it three. Whoever thinks they're running Serco might want to step down from Serco before the 10th of April. Theresa May, whether you were born a male or female, doesn't matter to me. I love the town you came from, Maidenhead. It makes it so easy to ridicule you. And Theresa May, if you keep trying to get the United States to support you in Israel against Russia, you might as well just give up and go back to the cucumber patch. It's not going to happen. I'm going to take a break. I'm not going to leave, I guess this is a bully puppet. Oh, this is funny. I can learn a lot. Amerly says Trump supports DUMP cable TV. Yeah. Minion like Wicked Witch. Oh, thank you, Agent J, for what a minion. Yeah, the bunch of peon help. Oh, look at that. Peon helpers. That's what Chad said. That's what I was going to say. Let me list some of my favorite peons. Carl Levin, he realized that he was not going to be hidden much longer, so he bailed out a Michigan Senate seat. Chuck the Schmuck Schumer. I just saw a picture today of four real schmucks. Chuck the Schmuck, Nancy Pelosi, Mitch McConnell, and Paul Ryan. My advice to all four of you is, what day is today? The 22nd. I think April Fool's Day would be a very good day to advise that you're going to pull a McCain and drop out. Well, let's stop right there and hammer McCain. He's the third in a series of 3 Naval Academy graduate traitors. Oh, by the way, I get a lot of negative comments on YouTube's. I'm going to make one up so it doesn't attract anybody. It might be something like this. Field, I've watched 75 of your YouTubes, and I can't follow you. You just go from subject to subject to jump subject. Okay, now, for those of you who can follow me, hang in there. For those of you who can't follow me, if you can't follow me, why are you watching 75 YouTubes? I wouldn't do it. Sorry, I'll try to calm down now. Minion, subordinate. Thank you, M4S. I'm keeping up with the chat room. I wanted to go back and read something from David Hawkins. So I can't because I have to refresh it. So we'll keep going down the track here, the Trump Truth Train track. Oh, I like Eager Beaver. Is George within hearing range? Okay. Eager Beaver, who is up in Canada, I'm thinking Alberta, he says a minion is a treasonous dumbfucker. Well, I think that's pretty hostile against normal DFs. But, they're running out of time, and the truth will never be hidden, and the foul acts of people like Chuck the Schmuck, Face Drop Pelosi. I don't know if I'm gay or black, Paul Ryan. And who's the other one? Oh, yeah, Mitch. I got kicked out of the army in the first week because I'm gay, married to Elaine Chow, whose father is a Chinese cocaine hauler. And if anybody wants to check that out, just Google Elaine Chao. She's, by the way, our Secretary of something. I think she's a real chink in the armor of the United States. But Elaine Chao, and then the name of the ship is Ping, P-I-N-G, May, M-A-Y, Cocaine, and either my name or Abel Danger. Either, if you put my name, it'll come up. If you put Abel Danger, it'll come up. If there's nothing there, please, someone in the chat room advise Denise and I so I can go find it and post it. The Mockingbird Press is owned by 6 corporations that are majority owned by 3 hedge funds, Blackstone, Vanguard, and State Street. Well, thank you. And just to show that I like talking to McTurk, I think State Street's in Boston, and I think Denise really loves that sweatshirt you bought me, so thank you very much. Oh, this is unrelated, so if you don't like how I jump around, go ahead and, go watch the, what are they called? Let's see, Big Bang Theory would be good, or The Simpsons. Yeah, that'll keep your attention for like 9 seconds, which is all you can handle, apparently. David well, there it is again. Now, I'm getting so much information, which is good. It makes it difficult for me to read anything. I'm going to go try to find what David just posted because I didn't see it. And I probably won't do this again because now my whole campfire's loading. And I don't have much time left here. Oh, wait a minute. This is going to work. Okay, I'm not going back to your letter, David, and I will pay attention. And if you put up the same letter again, that's what we can do. If you put up the same letter again, I can probably see it. But everybody's participating so much, it's difficult to keep up, even though I do have the ability to turn on a dime. I love this picture J.J. Johnson from Jersey put in. Barry Swatero looking at a Marine knowing that he's dead meat, and the Marine looking at Obama knowing that he's a gay PFer. Let's see, Danger's deadly duo. Feel it was the Smith-Munt Act that banned propaganda in the U.S. media. Well, then what I will do is I will send the transcript of the chat room and the radio show itself to Trump right after this. I'm trying to keep up with the chat room. It's easier to keep up with David, actually, even if I don't understand. David H. says stockpiles of Novichok in the form of powder laced in Skipples BMW air vents under contract with SES at the Defense Threat Reduction Agency. AD go team. Yeah, I think we've got the attention of the bad guys in England, and I was rattling off bad guys, and I said Theresa May, Rupert Soames, Nicholas Soames, the Crown agents, and Serco. If Serco is a corporation, I believe. If it's a corporation, then it would have stock owners, and if the stock owners were aware of their corporation was doing, they would be guilty of some form of a crime. And I'm not so sure that I think there's 3 corporations that own a majority of Serco. I could be wrong. David will correct me. 2 of those organizations, yeah, I think I know all 3 of them. Saudi Arabia, Singapore, and the United Kingdom. I believe that's right. If somebody corrects me, I'll correct it. Oh, here's one from David. I'll try to read in its entirety. If I can stop this. Yeah, I think I got to stop. Here's a guy who applied the pedophile glue. Sir James Wilson, Vincent Seville, OBE, KCG, bunch of other things, bunch of other chicken shit, frankly. Was an English DJ, television and radio personality, dance hall manager, and charity fundraiser. He hosted BBC. Let me stop right there. I think they just got a contract today to continue their monopoly until 2027. Someone can find that. It's in today's news. Okay, BBC Music Chart show, Top of the Pops, and raised an estimated $40 million for charities. At the time of his death, he was widely praised for his personal qualities and as a fundraiser. After his death, hundreds of allegations of sexual abuse were made against him, leading the police to believe that Savile had a predatory sex offender, possibly one of Britain's most prolific. There have been allegations during his lifetime, but these were dismissed and his accusers were ignored or disbelieved. Savile took legal action against some of his accusers. Okay, L.W. Smith-Munt needs to be restored. Thank you, Amerly, you're right. I just happened to be listening to AIM before the show started and still had the window open. Oh, I don't know where that came from. I can't follow this. FADEC hit, David says. David, this is David Rusin. He's wondering if that hit the abnormality of the power plant of Jared Kushner's and Ivanka's helicopter. Yeah, that can be done with FADEC. They've been doing that. Who are they? Well, everyone knows who the bad guys are because we published every name. 1994, up in Scotland, a Chinook helicopter in the military with a bunch of well-informed intelligence people went down. And the reason it went down was because of FADEC and a similar device as to the BUAP. Chinook helicopters are built by Boeing, and this one it was February of 94, as I recall, on their way back from Northern Ireland, a bunch of the senior intelligence people, and they're all dead. Able Danger has tracked the custodians of patentee SWAT teams and the scriptwriters for Wheeler Simulator CBRNE attacks, chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear. The other one would be E, that escapes me. Attacks through Serco's investment banker N.M. Rothschild & Son, the UK Cabinet Office Emergency Planning College, also known as the singular Hawkills, the US-UK Teacher Pensions Fund, the US Senior Executive Service, the US Patent Trademark Office. Well, President Trump or anyone loyal to him, please get this information to President Trump. I promise that I'll try to do it tomorrow. I think I've done my fair share for today. This transcript, though, David, so I'm talking to David Hawkins, this chat transcript will go to President Trump. I know who I'm going to send it to, and I don't think he's in the chat room. He might be listening. He's someone that likes drinking French champagne. But I will get both the radio show and the chat log to where it needs to go tonight. Wasn't Jimmy Savile a necrophiliac? Yes, I think he was. For those of you who don't know what that term means, it means someone who has a certain form of relationship with a dead person. You know, like David Cameron and a dead pig. Okay, JR. Go Banks is here. I don't know what you're saying yes, JR, about. Maybe you're talking about necrophilia also. Oh, yeah, Go Banks, that was him. He had mortuary keys. Isn't this delightful? I'll tell you what, I don't have mortuary keys, but if the people running England that are destroying my country, or if people like McCain or my sister or George H.W. Bush in my country need a ride to the graveyard, I will pick them up at the gallows and I will take them to the nearest animal. What do you call a cemetery? A cemetery. Yeah, in America, some people value their pets much more than they value human babies because they don't really care if 35 or 50 million fetuses have been aborted. But when Fido kicks the bucket, they go out and spend $1,000 or $1,500 to show how much they love their dog. Listen, I love my dogs too, but I'm not within 4,000 miles of them. Okay, so let's keep humans come first. Dogs, if your owners don't have anything to do, your dogs will probably be well cared for. Serco pirate equity groups allegedly allowed Greek-like life associates of Bill Clinton, Wilbur Ross, to conceal betting on body counts of CBRNE mass casualty and snuff film events with Howard Lutnick's real-time interactive wagering on event outcomes CA246, blah, blah, blah. Once again, maybe if somebody other than me, I just realized that I've been asked by Jason Goodman to come on tonight and clear up some stuff. When I last looked, his interview, and I'm thinking in Plum City, it's 2 o'clock. So in the last 48 plus 6, in the last 54 hours, his short interview on the phone with me Tuesday morning is up over 45,000 hits. And once again, I don't think the genie's going back in the bottle. Conair prisoner tracking and warning system corresponding methods, U.S. Patent 6054928A with expert system, i.e. including fuzzy logic, reinforcement learning, neural networks, artificial intelligence, algorithms, blah, blah, blah. I see Hugh. Guess who's in the chat room, Denise? Hugh. Hugh, somebody whose last name is Rowley asked what time we'll be arriving tomorrow at the Cornerstones. And we haven't had, I don't think we've had a chance to get back to Miss, we have, yeah, well, I found out I'm wrong. We have responded. Did we get a time to arrive yet? Hugh, do you have any idea what time we should, what time normal people are allowed into their rooms? If anybody wants to share what Hugh and I are talking about, you got what? Oh, what is it? 1 p.m.? Wow. Okay, Hugh, never mind. I guess we're arriving at 1 p.m. Would somebody who's not Hugh please put up an image of the Cornerstones B&B in a town that I can't pronounce, but it's spelled capital L, little l, Ongolllen in North Wales. Denise and I will be arriving at 1 o'clock tomorrow, it looks like. And we're really looking forward to that, by the way. And we might even eat at a restaurant there called The Gallery. So if somebody who follows Abel Danger and sees these pictures I put in the last 2 radio show ads of the Cornerstones B&B and the Gallery restaurant, and we sort of count on them because I wouldn't want to think that if I just pulled into any place in North Wales and had something to eat or drink that it wouldn't have some of the Porton Down cocktail additives. I just say that tongue in cheek, as it appears that either Christine Marcy and the Serco Senior Executive Service corroboration, they've been working together to keep the United States of America in not only national slavery to England, but debt slavery to the global bankers. And you might, if anybody has a calendar and a pen or pencil, you might circle the 26th of March, because if there is a global reset, and I think there's going to be, they're certainly planning on it, because the world cannot go on like this. And yet the world will go on, because that's what God promised us. See, we haven't had the tribulation yet. Apparently there's 1,000 years of peace. So I think I'll be off the air before the end of the world. But as far as the people that want to end the world, notice for the record, I didn't say anything about Bill Gates or Warren Buffett, because I wouldn't want to be exposed to losing a 5th home. But anyway, stream of consciousness. Susan F. Yes. Okay, we're going to have a little fun here. Susan F. said something about stream of consciousness. Mary is from Wisconsin, and she wants Paul Ryan out. I'm going to go down to the very bottom. I hope people don't mind. Oh, I almost threw up. There's a picture of my sister. I'm going to say ready, set, go. And then we're going to do a very 15-second. Okay, I'm looking at Gobank's picture of the river going through Llangollen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with that. And then the next, Susan said, you are on the list. Anyway, I don't know what list that is. But I'm starting with the river in North Wales. And I'm going to take Agent JR as number 2. The next 3 things that come up, I'm going to show people how stream of consciousness works. And maybe Gobanks can tell me, is that the LLAN river? And then JR says Susan on the list. Okay, I know what to do with that. 3 more things, anything. Oh, okay. I see the bed and breakfast. Oh, no, that's not the bed and breakfast we're going to. That's the clan go. Llangollen twinned with the world. Okay. That's 4. Okay, I guess I just need 1 more thing. And a smiley face doesn't count, and 0 doesn't count. So as soon as I get something that, especially if it's something I don't know, I'm going to demonstrate stream of consciousness so that the people that are faithful to Abel Danger can understand why I talk like I do. And of course, the people that aren't going to be capable of understanding have the party after the arrest. Okay, the guest list party. Okay, using those 4 terms, Denise and I were surprised on our last radio show about 3 to 7 days ago that we had been put on the guest list for a gathering up at the bed and breakfast named the Cornerstones, but for security purposes, we're going to be staying down the street. We're going to be signing into another hotel with our real names, and we would be going to the Cornerstones B&B with our assumed names, Agent Chips and Agent Dice, because they're safe and nobody knows what we do. But as we thought about all the adventures and fun we could have in Langola in northern Wales, we got a call from Susan, and it was on the list. She determined that number 71 and 69 on the same list were bad guys, and then she sent us a delayed mail to arrive at Friday the 23rd of March in Langola. I can't pronounce it, but the mail was going to go to the recep desk at the hotel, and it would have the names and the photographs of the people we should be on the lookout for. This is funny, I can't read my own writing. We decided that what we might do is swing up and meet somebody at the safe house that's in Cheadle, Cheadle, England. The name of it is Les Petits Bijoux. I don't know what Les Petits Bijoux means, but we were supposed to go up there, and then we were going to get some veterans from SES and others who had served in the UK military to be within short range of us for the whole time that we were in Wales. And so we did a quick check of Les Petits Bijoux and found out that the driving time was a little over an hour, so we have our whole schedule all planned out. Okay, that's stream of consciousness, and yet it confuses people, I guess. But I can't tell you how many times I've gotten legitimate requests from people saying, I wish you'd just learn to say something and stop beating around the bush. Okay. If there's any of you left, 9/11 was done by George H.W. Bush. John McCain helped him. My sister Christine Marcy helped him. Hillary Clinton helped him. We have a list of all the helpers. I'm doing this slowly because the people that don't like stream of consciousness, they sort of think slower. The list of the defendants in a lawsuit that we filed on the 1st of May of 2007, entitled Hawks Cafe versus the Global Guardians, we had 100 defendants listed, and we reserved the right to add 20 defendants later. Hugh says again, Langolan twinned with the world. I don't know what that means. Oh, maybe that means twin with the world in Welsh. The party after the rest and the guest list. Okay, we're getting back into that, huh? Well, I think we are. The guest list had Agent Chips and Agent Dice, and we had red circles around the 69th person and the 71st person. And so we decided that we would have our Royal Marines in rubber boats along the River Dee, and they would be upstream, so if they had to respond to an emergency extract, the current in the River Dee would get them there faster than their top speed of their Zodiac boats is typically 55 in calm water. Yes, it is beautiful, said Jill as she was leaning over Denise's shoulder reading the guest list. And Gobsmack said, well, I hope the Zuckerbergs, who are really the Rockefellers, send a representative. And that's very prescient of Gobsmack because number 69 and number 71 were both paid for by the real Zuckerberg name, which is Rockefeller. Now, I think Mark Rockefeller is in a little trouble because he took all the patents and the creative intellectual property from a man in social engineering. And when you steal the money, when you steal control of Facebook and you use it for nefarious purposes, you should expect to go down quicker than a prom dress. Okay, we're going to get out of stream consciousness. Agent 66 said there's 32 million Americans today. 32 know about SES and what it represents. Tomorrow, millions more, and the evil that it has brought to this country will be totally exposed forever. This is a sidebar. Somebody contacted Denise today and volunteered to start a petition to get Denise into the country. And I don't think that's going to be necessary. I do believe that this radio show, not rodeo show, that's different. If you want a good rodeo show, it's Junior Bonner, Sam Peckinpah in 1972. But a petition may be helpful, a petition may be harmful. Now we're looking at Jake R. in Kansas has put up a picture of one of the rooms at the Cornerstones, and I don't know if that's like a living room of one of the rooms. I don't think so. It might be a place where guests can gather. Let me just say that Denise and I will take a lot of pictures in Wales, and I already know that with only 3 bedrooms, which is really nice, it's a very private place, and it would be a great place for fellow agents to gather sometime to have a victory party, or even any family in the United Kingdom that wanted to, have 2 or 3 extended families join them for a joint holiday. It might be a really good place, and I'll be able to say that. That's my opinion already. I'll be able to testify to that next Monday, which just dawned on me. We need to be back next Monday for a radio show, and so we will report on the radio show next Monday how well we enjoyed the hospitality, not only at the Cornerstones B&B, but also at the Gallery Restaurant. Oh, Petit Bijou. Do you see what that means, Denise? Did you see it? It's there. Yeah, it means little jewels. Well, I would say John McCain, John Kerry, Bill Clinton, Chuck the Schmuck, Mitch McConnell, Paul Ryan, and Carl Levin. They've got some pretty small jewels, but maybe they'll descend someday. Probably not. Oh, Trudeau, yeah, he's got some. His are. How do you say very petite bijou? It's funny. Don't change anything. Thank you, Duke. I agree, and I agree because of 3 things: tactics, strategy, and results. Abel Danger has received so many suggestions of what we could do better. My response is already, can you give us an example of somebody who's doing it better? And then the response is, doing what better? I said, doing what Abel Danger does. They go, well, we're not really sure what you do. And to which I would, I wouldn't get rational or wise ass. I'd just say, well, if you don't know what we're doing, then I don't think you're in a position to criticize and give us guidance. So, David and I, we're pretty happy with the results we have gotten, and even more so happy with the results we're getting right now. We're literally every alternative truth source that's legit. Let me just mention one in Canada, Billy Joyce. He's in Eastern Canada, and he just did a piece about senior executive service in Serco. So to Billy Joyce, my hat goes off. Oh, wait a minute, my hat's not on. I'll fix that right away. I'll put my hat on. Now, if Denise will remind me where the camera is, I think it's right there. I'll look in the camera with my hats on and continue reading from the chat room. Then we're going to wrap this up in about 3 or 4 minutes. For those of you who don't know, in about 33 minutes, I'm going to be on with Jason Goodman, and it's just going to be me. David was invited, but then through a short chat among 3 or 4 parties, it was determined, since the only thing we're talking about is my sister, that I'd do this one, and then David, I think, is going to be invited on Jason Goodman without me next week, so it's not like he's playing second fiddle. In fact, he's the first fiddle, I'm the third fiddle, and the Abel Danger chatters are the second fiddle, so I hope everybody understands that. What I do is very easy for me, and it's really pleasant. Let me just show you how pleasant. Agent 66 sounds like a cozy place to go, Field and Denise. I hope you have a lovely time. I think we will. I want to say that Hugh, who's in the chat room right now, is the one who extended an invitation, and then it's not my nature to accept invitations, but I'm getting older, and I found out that Europeans tend to be more gracious than the Americans, and when a European says, come please stay with us, that's what they mean. But since I'm an American and I'm not gracious, I said, well, we'll come stay with you, and we'll take your free night, but we'll pay for it by making a 3-night reservation, because they have a special. If you make a 3-night reservation, you get a free night. So it's a wonderful place. I haven't been there yet, but I hope Denise feels really good and comfortable there. I'm sure she would. It looks better than home, and I'm not saying her home or my home. It looks better than home. $1 trillion ripoff, social networking. Thanks for putting that up, Otto. By the way, to show the Abel Danger reach, the gentleman who just put up that link, Autopilot, he's from Trondheim, Norway, but when he's put on global hammer duty, then he moves up or down. I think it's down to Stavanger. So we have a lot of people all around. In fact, I think if I were to say something like we've got some human intelligence people 360-degree circle around Christopher Steele's house, I think a lot of old-time Able Danger listeners would have about a 50% chance of being right. Now, what would you think if you were a spy and you found out that your house was surrounded by people that were waiting on a letter of marque and reprisal? We're almost at quitting time. There's a good song called Quitting Time by some country singer. I will be twinned with the world tomorrow. Field. That's from Hugh, and Hugh, his last name doesn't start with a U. That's a reference to Duke McTurk's College, Utica College up in New York. The Red Arrows, oh, I'm sorry to hear this. The Red Arrows crashed on Angley yesterday. Lost a navigator, failed to eject. Well, there's nothing funny about that. I have a lot of good friends from my younger days that are dead. The most useful name to post here is Chick Burlingame, because it was my sister, John McCain, G.H.W. Bush, and Hillary that are responsible for his murder. He was the captain of American 77, and he was a Navy guy, not a Marine. But Able Danger is pretty handy at protecting people after they're gone, because it could have been one of us, and we know the value of life. We know how short it is, and we especially resent what the Clinton family's been doing. What they in Katrina and Haiti, the Clinton Foundation caused a lot of young people to be orphaned. Whereupon the Clinton Foundation, by the way, Hillary, if you don't like this, just go watch The Simpsons. The Haiti heartquake, that's an earthquake that the Clintons had a U-2 overhead. The U-2's number is 80-1076. And Katrina, Katrina was a heartquake, and Haiti was a heartquake, and Clinton's U-2 was at both. And then, strangely, right before the election, a pilot who could have been the pilot of Clinton's U-2 died in what I would say is a murder at Beale Air Force Base in September of 2016. To check my memory, his name was Ira, I-R-A-S, as in Samuel, Edie, Echo Alpha Delta India Echo. Okay, I'm going to scroll down real quick, and then we're going to take a break. Wales is almost as beautiful as Scotland. That's from GoBanks, but Wales, don't get excited. I can handle this for you. Gobsmack is almost as beautiful as Chips. Now we're even, Gobsmack. Go back in your corner and let's be civil. Speaking of being civil, there's some uncivil behavior in both chat rooms. Only one incident in the campfire chat, but numerous in the Discord chat. So we've got a lot more moderators. We only needed one or two at our smaller old chat, but we need more, and we have more at the new chat. I'm going to hurry down here. I see there's little Jackie S. is defending Wales. Thank you, Jackie, because I don't have time. And I don't think Jackie's from Wales. I think she lives in England. I'm going down as quickly as I can go. Oh, there's a song here. I wonder what that song is. Oh, I know what it is. Bob P. says, "Don't back down." Yeah, and that guy just died, and it was drugs in his case. Do you remember who said? Oh, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Yeah, Tom Petty. He was not only a good artist in his own with his own band, the Heartbreakers, but he was also in the Traveling Wilburys. So, I see Mensa's put up a picture of his favorite politician. Hey, that's funny. Braveheart has an image. You see Braveheart's image? It's apparently to Justin Trudeau. It says, "Come on, man, grow some balls." Yeah, if any of you politicians that have not descended yet, if you'd like tips on how not to sit on them or how not to roll a nut, Ginger Cookie in Maine can straighten that out for you. Do-de-do. And then, we got a lot more. Braveheart. Yeah, that's funny. Thanks, Braveheart. What's that guy's name? The Austrian power lifter. I forgot. He's married to some Democrat. I'm just trying to be respectful to the chat room. Oh, let me see who put this up. Ginger Cookie put up an interesting thing, a quote. I'll read it first, and then I'll tell you what I know. The drive of the Rockefellers and their allies is to create a one-world government combining supercapitalism and communism under the same tent, all under their control. Do I mean conspiracy? Yes, I do. I am convinced there is such a plot, international in scope, generations old in planning, and incredibly evil and intent. That man's name was Congressman Larry P. McDonald. In 1976, they killed him aboard Korean Airlines flight. And see, whoever posted this didn't say, but it's Korean 007. How's that for a number? That was shot down by the Soviets. Well, you can blame the Soviets for everything. I would say that if tomorrow morning my sister, I pushed the wrong button again. Oh, that's a good button. Okay, but I'll go back to where I was. I'd say if my sister has a voluminous rectal discharge, it's not because of a high roughage diet. It's because she knows that she is getting the reputation as being the most evil woman in the world, when that's an indirect quote. I never said she is the most evil woman in the world. I always say that she's the second most evil person I know of in the United States. Oh, great. Thanks for the update. Oh, yeah, per phone call with Jason. Yeah, Jason and I will be on Skype. Would somebody please put up the link to that show that starts in 26 minutes? A lot of people are misquoting me about what I said about my sister. I said she surrendered to me. She did, in effect, and I'll explain the effect with Jason. She didn't write it because I've never published anything she's written yet, but she is smart enough to know that I'd publish that. So she was very laconic. That means sort of didn't say a whole lot, but she didn't have to say a whole lot to me. I understand what she's saying. Field, please stop talking about senior executive service and Serco and your hybristophiliac radical lesbian sister. Sorry, if you would have stopped 10 years ago with your pedophilia and your treason, I might have gone silent, but no, you're no longer alive in my world. You died years ago. And I think you understand that I will not attend any funeral of any of your family members for the disrespect you allowed your family to show to my parents. See you later, Chris. You and I are done. Mary says, Denise, how is the weather? Okay, that's not... Wow, GC, I was explaining 007 this morning. Now, it's funny how a lot of us have similar things happen at similar times. Boy, there's a lot of stuff here. I'm having a hard time. Field, please expand on the McCabe Naval Academy troubles. Well, first of all, Agent J, are you sure it's McCabe? Yeah, I'm not aware of that, so I can't. But I'm going to keep scrolling. If she's talking about McCain, I can talk about. Oh, it's quitting time. That apparently was performed by Keith Whitley, who died in 1989 of alcohol poisoning, and his good friends talked to him at 8 o'clock in the morning. They came back to see why he missed a recording session or some business, and he was dead because between 8 a.m. and 1 p.m. he drank so much that he passed away. What a wonderful talent and great singer. There's a picture of Chick Burlingame. Yeah, he didn't. Oh, thank you, David. There's a picture of the U-2 that the Clintons have twice used. And Doug M., thank you for posting the picture of my sister with the right surrender flag, SES, and then me in the shadows. See, but I'm not in the shadows. You know, I'll walk right down the main street. In fact, I hope to fly, and I said fly, not walk. I do hope to fly in Trump's Veterans Day parade. He's invited the active military, the veterans, the reserves, everybody, and he, as a special request, they said after the active duty military flies over at the very end of the march, he'd like as many warbirds as possible. If there's any financial agents out there, and I don't think there would be, but, well, no, there's two that I know are out there, but they know what I'm going to say. But there's 2 airplanes for sale right now. One of them is extremely historically significant. That's an F4H1, which is an F4B, but no, it'd be an F4A, but who cares? That's for sale. Then there's a TA4 like the Blue Angels, and either one of those don't be surprised to see in Trump's. In fact, what I can do to, I'm not aware of any legit foundations in the United States, but hopefully there are some. But I think that if Boeing Aircraft wanted to sponsor that F4 or the A4, but I'd say the F4 because it's got more history, they should get a hold of Abel Danger. And if Boeing wanted to get involved, or if anybody in the chat room can nominate some foundation with deep pockets that might like to support a resurgence in potency of the United States military, specifically the flying arms of the Navy, Marine Corps, Air Force, they can get a hold of Abel Danger. No. Field McConnell at, no, that's not right. I'm tired. FIELDMCC@yahoo.com. Or you can leave comments at the Abel Danger, ABELDANGER, .org, which will be up in a matter of days. We've moved our whole operation to Netherlands and Iceland because YouTube apparently works for the other team. Okay, Marines fight to win. Well, you're half right, Blondie. They either win or they die. That's how that works. Oh, there's the longest word. This is getting hilarious. GoBanks put up the longest word in any language today. I'll try to pronounce it slowly for those of you who are not fluent in Welsh. Lan fer pwe G ja sin rop Shileo Gogovich. It means, don't tell us the Russians screwed up America. But it's they do it with different ways of saying the same thing. Yeah, I see your thing, Mensa. Oh, David Russin put up, that's a wonderful image. If anybody wonders who did that image, Jason Goodman did that image himself. And that's my sister in Mali, where she has one of her SOS children villages, I would say pedophile recruitment centers or fulfillment centers. And, back in the blue shadows, that's me in my Northwest pilot uniform with the Iranian Air Force One in the background. For those of you who are really good with airplanes, you might see by my right ear there's two tailpipes. That's engines number 1 and 2 on a KC-135A model that was used by the Iranian Air Force as a tanker before they gave it to the president for his official trips. Well, there's Domino's. I must be nowhere near the bottom. I don't have any. I'm going to do this real quick. There's the plum book. The people that put that out are talking to us, not constantly. I lost field speed. That's okay. Denise cooked me something, Ginger. Don't worry about it. Oh, Bob H. Larry McDonald's pilot on that fateful day was apparently CIA and had a scouting remit over Soviet territory, coincidentally. Yeah, strange coincidence. I'm going to be skipping over things now because I do want to get off. I have to get off. And I see a Volvo dealership, but I don't. Oh, okay. Apparently that's where I'm going. Oh, Braveheart. Bless your pea-picking heart. Let me just explain the significance of this F4 that is currently for sale. And it's very similar to what I used to fly, and it would take me about 30 nanoseconds to get comfortable. It's got a red, white, and blue tail. I'd be interested if anybody can read the two letters on the red, white, and blue tail, and if you can't, I'll tell you what they are. AD, as in Abel Danger. That airplane's for sale right now today for $3.75 million, and it's airworthy. It only needs to have the ejection seats armed, and if you want to update the flight instruments, which wouldn't be necessary, that has to be done. And it comes with 2 brand new engines and 3 brand new spare engines. It's quite a buy, but most people don't have that kind of money, and I'm one of those most people. I don't know why Kathy McCaley missed the broadcast. It was at the normal time, but who knows. Field, you are 20 minutes out until call with JG. Okay, thank you. You know what that allows me to do? First of all, I knew that, Telford. Oh, by the way, I'm glad I said Telford because Denise, did I tell you that we're going to have people posing as the Telford Russian and Agent Bean with us? But it's not the real Telford Russian because, he might be at risk. But Anyway, so thank you. And just to take advantage of that opportunity to bail out, I'm going to say I'm very sorry David wasn't able to contribute. Denise and I will make sure we call David at some point, and we might even do it tomorrow before we leave. No, that won't work because of where he's at. But apologies to you, David. I know you still appear to be in the chat room. Susan F., thanks for your kind words. And no to the mark, thanks for your heart singing. Go Banks and Hugh are going to have to train me, I guess, to speak. Well, I don't want to scare Denise's son. Go Banks asked me to do a Michael Fuerta, but he'd think I'm having a heart attack. No, we'll do it Monday because he'll be at the gym Monday night, I think. Yeah, Love for Life, Chump Change. You know what? There are people, and I don't necessarily know who the people are, but I've had a couple of people contact me via private email with no copies to anybody else that said, if you need some money, let me know. And you can tell when it's serious, and you can tell when they're, maybe being facetious. But there are people out there that would like to support Abel Danger, and David and I both have, I think it's called paypal.me/ and we do appreciate anything we get. My feeling for me is that God will provide. On the other hand, I think there's a lot of people who have pure intentions. They want to feel like they're providing. So I'll tell you what we'll do. First of all, I got one dinner being paid for in Wales at the Gallery restaurant. But if anybody else, this is not pleading for money, I'm smiling. If anybody else wants to participate and say, oh, I'd like to buy you a round of drinks, or I'd like to buy you dinner, breakfast, or lunch, this is just for humor. But what Denise and I would do is we'd tell you how to get it, and then we would make sure we get a smiling picture. But we're not asking for help. God's taking good care of us, except for the visa issue, and we will get that straightened out. So I think I saw a big red button, and I think everybody's felt like they got to participate today, and that was good, because that way it's not me doing what I want to do. Since we have the big red button, oh, wait a minute. Here it comes, the official big red button. So now we need the protocol. And on behalf of Denise and I and the gracious people in Langola, Wales, we'll be up there for 3 nights, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And what we'll do is we'll try to get online. I don't know if they have Wi-Fi. If they don't, some coffee bar will.